What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And we're broadcasting on the last day of January. And in the Toronto area, we're very happy it's the last day of January because we have gotten so much snow. And like we're in this, the polar vortex. We're in like a polar vortex thing right now that's going on, and it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. So hopefully January will be done and gone and we can get rid of things, but we're having a great time here on Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. And we're just blessed to have even just LaLa today because there's this bug going around and like LaLa's under the weather. Today, Aisha's under the weather. We don't know who's going to show up anymore. LaLa, how are you?
Hey, everybody. As I said, I've been pretty sick. And now, unfortunately, Aisha, my cohort, is also now sick. So you just get LaLa today, but LaLa is extremely happy to be here because she missed you very much. And I love doing this show.
We miss you back.
Yeah, I love this show.
Well, this show loves you back.
It's a lot going on right now, though.
So this bug that you've had, like you were telling me offline, it was impacting your singing voice too, wasn't it?
Yes. Normally when I get that sick like that with all that coughing, I tips it. I just don't force it. I don't know what's going on. I keep going away, don't I?
Yeah, you're having
maybe I should drop out and come back in.
Yeah,
let me drop out and come back in.
Yeah, drop out and come back in. All right, so we're having technical difficulties. You can see I've been having some, so I'm adjusting my camera stuff. LaLa's had some stuff, so we'll work it out. We'll work it out, family. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out. So let me just do some stuff here while we're waiting for LaLa to come back. Let me just do this. Okay. All right. So let's see who's here. Destiny Savory, good afternoon. How are things in the area of Niagara Falls? And also Jen Myers is in the house. Jen also says, we have a ton of snow in Cleveland too, 18.2 inches in one day about a week ago. Well, Jen, about a week and a half ago, we had 30 inches in 24 hours. Not a competition, by the way, but we had just a ridiculous amount of snow in 1 hour, in one day. So I feel you. Destiny says hello to LaLa when LaLa comes back. And she says, LaLa, glad you, yeah, LaLa really was going through a bad stint. I was chatting with her offline and like I called her and within 10 seconds say, no, LaLa, I'm not speaking to you. No, just her voice was just not there. So yeah, so LaLa says, glad you're feeling better. Destiny says, hey, LaLa. And Destiny says also on my side, lakes on my side of the Lake Fort area is Buffalo they get the Buffalo. They don't get the Buffalo weather. Buffalo's been getting hit for the last number of weeks.
Wow.
So, yeah. They've been under weather alerts for the longest period of time. So, but it's all good. So LaLa, I know you haven't been feeling well, but give us a win since we last saw you.
I got to present on a very important panel today. I was a part of Dr. Boyce's network, Black Business School, and it was the digital conference that he did, and I spoke on real estate. That that's a pretty big deal to me, and I'm very proud about that. It went very well, and I hope that I helped to educate the people. And it was really nice to be able to be on a platform of my peers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you know what? And I didn't subscribe to it because I knew I was not going to be available. I should have paid for it and see if the replay is going to be available. Maybe I should do that.
They are the replays, but the link is on my Facebook page, and you can get 60% off.
Okay, let's talk offline how I can get that, please and thank you. Okay.
Yes.
I need to know that. I need to know that because I want to treasure LaLa's live performance. I want to keep that in the archives.
There's some really good information, guys. I mean, not only just what I talk about, but there is a tiny home movement. A lot of people are looking into that.
Yeah.
And there was a panelist there who talked about how he rebuilt a whole city with that. And, you really now have to kind of start thinking outside the box and stop saying things are impossible or, oh, I can never, or it won't happen for me. There are ways that things can happen for you. Sometimes you just have to think a little bit differently than what you've been taught to think.
I will just add to that, there's that phrase you hear, think outside the box, but you can also think while you're in the box.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
right?
agree.
Don't wait to get outside the box to think. Think while you're in the box. That is so good. LaLa, there's so much to talk about. You know that?
I know. And it's like we only picked just a few things.
Yeah, we only did because I guess you're not planning to go see a movie that premiered yesterday.
Oh, I'm not watching that. I'm watching Becoming.
Don't say the name. Don't say the name.
I'm watching something different. I'm watching beautiful Michelle Obama.
Oh, what's Michelle got going on?
Oh, her movie Becoming about her is, yes, we're watching it on Netflix. We're watching a beautiful first lady talk about how she became first lady. And it's based from her book.
And not getting paid $40 million?
Not. And when you want to talk about a classy first lady, that would be Michelle Obama.
Okay. All right.
So we don't mention names that don't matter.
Oh, ouch. 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 I think we better go to break on that one. We better go to break. Ouch. 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 Or no, we'll talk about that offline. I don't want to go any further. And LaLa's picture is frozen right now, and it's her smiling with her tongue out. Your internet, it's so funny. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we'll do some housekeeping, and then we'll get into some stories that I'm sure everyone's going to chat about. We'll be back in 15 seconds.
Watch The Morning Vibe live on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight discuss important subjects between themselves or have conversations with people who you need to know about.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of that in the last week, shoveling snow. So that's why I put that up.
I don't miss that. I don't miss that.
Okay, let's get to some housekeeping. Girlfriends Chat with Aisha, LaLa, and Jill Jones. There's a time it's been on Patreon. There's a time that it's been on Substack, and we're waiting for it to come on YouTube. But those are previous links. Next up, Primetime Saturday's show store. There's a link if you buy merchandise. And then the Discord group. Email me and you can become part of the Discord group of Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. Also subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show and hit the notification button so you get notified of all the great conversations we do. And also follow Dr. Vibe on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. And I'm debating whether I still want to put content on TikTok because I've been hearing some things that I'm not really pleased about that's going on TikTok.
I'm gone.
Wow, you're gone from TikTok?
Totally. Deleted all of my content, downloaded my analytics, gone, never going back. Same with X. Not there either.
Wow. Okay.
Y'all better read the terms of services. Y'all think it's a joke. It's not a joke.
Okay. What's another thing I got to talk to LaLa about offline? Okay. And to advertise your business product or service on any of the platforms I'm a part of, please email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And can't forget Dr. Tachi, Indie Suit TV, her independent content creators platform with about 25 independent content creators. I am one of them, and also sit on the advisory board. And it is that independent content, which is even more prominent, especially as we go into our first conversation piece today, of independent content creators, and has over 28,000 YouTube subscribers in about 2.5 years of operation. Putting it, when it comes to subscribers, number of subscribers on YouTube, her channel's in the top 10%. I think it's actually 4%, not even 10%, 4%. And also, too, just in case, if you got a question to take, go to callme.road.com and use this code. Go to the next screen, put in your name, and then make sure everything's green and click and go. All right. We've got our first conversation piece. So, wow, that's all I got to say. The first conversation piece. You ready? All right, let's go.
Federal agents arrested Don Lemon in Los Angeles after he live streamed an anti-ICE protest that disrupted a worship service at City's Church in Minnesota. The protest targeted a pastor who also served as a local ICE official amid outrage over fatal incidents involving ICE agents. While Lemon insists he was there as a journalist, the Justice Department charged him with conspiracy and interfering with religious worship, using the rarely applied FACE Act. Press freedom advocates and political leaders warn this sets a dangerous precedent for journalists covering protests. The debate now centers on where journalism ends and participation begins.
Well, LaLa,
this is nothing but retaliation. And this is exactly what they are going to continue to do. They have no basis to arrest him whatsoever. The things that he charged him with were mute. And in fact, there was a federal magistrate judge who literally declined to issue an arrest warrant for him because he cited that it was insufficient probable cause, and that a 3-judge appellate group panel found the same thing. So what the Department of Justice is doing is, if someone won't do their bidding, they will continue to do what they need to do until someone does bow and kiss the ring and do what they want. This is nothing but retaliation for his public criticism of ICE and also the administration, and his stand against the immigration policies. And, he actually has free press, freedom to do this. This is a part of what he does. He may not be with CNN, he may not be, but he still isn't a reporter in his own right, just like Joy Reid is as well. But because Don is getting the most of the press, I do want to point out that there were 3 other people, also Black reporters, who were arrested with him as well. Georgia Fort, she's an independent journalist and a longtime Minnesota reporter. She live streamed the event and she documented the protest, and federal authorities alleged that she participated in the actions that interfered with the church service. So she was arrested. Alicia Lane, who was a freelance reporter, and she covers a lot of immigration-related protests in Minnesota as well. And they tried to say that she moved her point beyond just observation, while her legal team said no, she was just reporting and gathering footage, a part of protected news gathering. And then Marcus Reed, who is a documentary filmmaker and journalist who was there to record the protest for his independent media project. And authorities are saying that he was coordinating with the protesters, and he denies that as well. So you need to see the key points that is being done here. They do not want anyone that isn't a part of what their narrative is, and they don't want anyone there to report what is actually happening on the ground. So what they do is they make these false narratives, they make these false accusations that are completely weak on legal bounds, and they move forward to it. Don has been released. He's on his own recognizance. And I can guarantee you, he's even required to go to the court for Minnesota, but I can guarantee you this is going to be dismissed. There are no solid grounds for this.
What do you feel is the real reason why the 47 administration did this?
Power. It's nothing but power. This is a part of fascism. I can never say that. This is a part of them wanting dictatorship. This is a part of them wanting total control over everything, making you believe that you can't even trust your eyes and your ears. So they are spinning their narrative for power.
Do you also think it's another area of diversion?
Very much so. Very much so. I hate to say that we're still talking about the Epstein files. There was another big batch that was put out just this past week that were even more atrocious, if you can even think of anything more atrocious that has been released already. They are dripping these files. Now, I'm going to tell you my personal opinion on this is that the things that they drip
All right,
Am I back? Am I back?
Audio wise, yes.
Okay, I have to tell you guys that I'm in a very terrible storm right now, so I'm
Okay. Yeah, I can tell Gigi, LaLa's going in and out. Yeah, I'm noticing that. So thank you for that. I noticed that too. I'm just we just lost her. So okay, no problem. So maybe she's gonna log out and log back in. So when she comes back, she'll continue to talk with the Don Lemon taking the custody in LA, what really happened. Protest. Oh, we almost lost me there. Okay, we're still here. All right. So we'll wait till she comes back in. But yes, when I was actually doing a live show yesterday, when I heard about Don Lemon being arrested, I went, okay, what's next? What's next? And it certainly shocked not only the media world, but just a lot of people. I mean, Don has, okay. I'm just taking a look at some messaging stuff here. All right. Yeah, and going back, I found out when Mr. Lem was arrested, I went, wow, and it just wildfire. And this has had not only a a political impact, but also independent content creators. Is the 47 administration going to come after them also? Not sure, but we will certainly find out sooner rather than later if they're coming after independent content creators. So we are just holding tight to see if we're going to get LaLa back. So if you're watching this live, what are your thoughts on Don Lemon being arrested? Good thing? Not so good thing? Not sure? Is it something you expected? Something you didn't expect? Give us your breakdown. Okay, we got some more people in the chat here. Yeah, we're waiting for LaLa to sign back in so we can hear her thoughts. So we're going to get her back. But again, if you have any comments on Don Lemon being arrested, please put them in the chat so we can share them out with you all. Like I said, I was doing a live show online. I was doing a live show online when it happened. I went, whoa. And I basically changed course in real time from the topic we were chatting about to speaking about Don Lemon's arrest. So, all right. So as we have some messages here, DRG Landry, happy to see you, Sweet Laura. Yeah, well, we want to get Sweet Laura back. That'd be great. She also says, bad thing, they must be stopped. Gigi Frisch, yeah, Don Lemon's got a huge rating boost on this. Absolutely. Like, so for those, Don Lemon used to be he was on CNN for about 10, 11 years. Then he got let go and he started to build his profile online. He just taken it to another level and increased his worth. Got a whole pile of people who have jumped in here. What is up, Wayne Harris? Good to see you. And for those who do not get a chance, Wayne Harris is going to be on with Financial First Fridays this Friday, 7 p.m. live. He usually does Financial First Fridays on the first Monday of the month on 9 a.m. You can check him this Friday, this first Friday of the upcoming month, of February at 7 p.m. live. So make sure you're following the Dr. Vibe channel to get details on that. And he says, Doctor, yes, sir. What is going on? Good to have you. Dr. Taxi is in the house. Always a good evening. And Gigi Free says, yeah, and it appears the LA judge was not buying into the case. No bail. Yeah. Yeah, it had no bail that Don Lemon had to put out there. Be very interesting to see how long this lasts. But again, can you imagine the amount of ratings boost Don Lemon's going to get after this? It was already big enough. It just gone to next level now. Let me just see if I got a message from Miss LaLa on what's going on her end. Okay. Nothing yet, so we'll hold tight until LaLa comes back. So some people commented about the Don Lemon arrest, and he has been released. Again, with no bail. What are your thoughts on that event? What does it mean for the state of independent content creation in America that is questioning the motives of the federal government? Do you believe the federal government should be putting all these independent creators into prison? Or should they be allowed their freedom? Okay, let's take a look. Gigi says, I think it will go the same way as Jimmy Kimmel. Administration is threatened by independent news because they're the source of truth mainstream media is afraid to report. Point taken. Point taken. Dr. Tachi says he should have never been in custody in the first place, nor should have the other three. There you go. It'll be interesting to see what the future of that case is. I don't think we'll see him going to jail, but you never know. Okay, LaLa is back. LaLa?
We're in a pretty bad storm, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. So just want to catch you up on some things. Gigi?
Hi,
says
Gigi.
Yes, Gigi's in the house. Saying it appears the LA, I would just go through these comments. It appears that the LA judge was not buying the case, no bail. Gigi also says, I think it will go the same way as Jimmy Kimmel. The administration is threatened by independent news because they're the source of truth mainstream media is afraid to report. Dr. Tachi saying he should have never been taken to custody in the first place, nor should have the other three. Also, Gigi says after the Epstein release, it's just another diversion.
Yeah, complete diversion. If you pay attention to what's being leaked, you'll see that most of the news now is talking about whoever else is in the files. Now, there is a really major, and I don't want to get into what it is because it's very triggering for me and I don't want to trigger anyone else. But there is a direct story of Trump and a 13, 14-year-old in
Yeah, I
this
heard
lab.
about that.
Yes, it's beyond gross. It's the depths of hell story. But if you've noticed, that also gets pushed to the back by saying that Jay-Z was there, certain rappers were there. What's the guy's name who owns Virgin Airlines and all that stuff?
Richard Branson.
Yeah, his name was in there. Zuckerberg was in there in an email. And some of these emails were pretty graphic, saying like, oh, I had a good time. Next time, bring your harem, things like that. But if you've noticed, you'll see a lot more of those stories more than you will see the prominent story of Orange Pants being the main person who is being looked at. I have to tell you, Dr. Vibe, I am taking this with such a grain of salt, if I can even, that's not even enough for me to explain, in the fact that I don't trust what they have put in and what they have taken out. Now, they are stupid enough that when they first did the first release of things, that they really thought that they had redacted things, and the general public is much smarter than the people who are in office right now. We all know that. And so a simple fix was to copy what was behind the redacted things, because they didn't redact it properly, and so they were able to put out what was truly given to us in documents that were not redacted. So I think it's a smokescreen. They're doing the very best they can to stay away. But I also really have to say that these files are much deeper than people expected them to be.
I know, and even Jen says that I was surprised, Dr. Vibe. So I wasn't surprised because I was watching an interview with Don Lemon about a week and a half ago with Allison, I hope I get her name, Komarata, who used to be on CNN. And she asked him, did he expect to be arrested? He said, yeah, they probably will. They probably will. So it wasn't a surprise what happened to him. He was certainly not shocked about the whole situation. What does this say about the state of independent content creators in the US who don't agree with 47?
That they have a fight ahead of them. I have often talked to my husband just past week, Dr. Vibe, of what we do. I feel that even our platform is going to be looked at because of our stance on protecting the American people, on our stance of breaking down of what we know the truth is, on our stance of really standing on the fact that we are for the people, by the people. And I think that eventually we will also be affected by what this administration is doing to independent journalism. There are certain people that I absolutely follow. The sale of TikTok has happened completely, and majority of the independent journalists and content creators who are really on the ground doing what they need to do to keep us informed have been silenced. In fact, many of them are leaving TikTok because they know that that is no longer the platform for them, because it is being silenced by the people who want to silence. That's why TikTok was sold in the first place.
Okay. All right. When you first heard this story, what was your reaction?
I knew it was coming. They're going to be coming. And the first of, if you notice, they arrested the black ones first, right? That's what they're going for. Anything that ain't white ain't right in their book. Now, yeah, that's an old phrase, but it's the truth. If you look at all the propaganda that is being put out on our website, such as the Department of HUD, the Department of Justice, the Department of all that, everything that they're putting out is old 1950s photos of white families having fun, making things for them. Everything is where they want it to be. There is no black faces in any of the propaganda that they're putting out. They're doing their very best. Just look at what they're doing to our immigrants and also U.S. citizens. If you ain't white, you ain't right. You don't fit their narrative. We are all in danger, but it becomes a point where you either have to take a stand or you fall for anything, and they're going to punish you for it. There's a reason that they're flying people outside of the United States of America for deportation, whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. Once you're outside of our lands, they can say that's no longer their problem, and therefore that's another country's problem. And look at what it's going to take and all the energy and the money for people who has that kind of money to fight for people when they're being sent off to Africa, when they're being sent off to, El Salvador, they're all these places. And that's another reason, baby girls and boys, that they're also looking at Greenland. Don't get it twisted. It's all tied in.
Oh, what are your words? I'll hold off on that because it's the same subject. Has Don Lemon done anything wrong?
No, he has not. He is informing the people. For us, he is doing nothing wrong. But for them, he's doing everything wrong, because when the people are informed properly and in the right way, it gives them more power to rise. Now, we hear of all the tragedy that is happening in Minnesota. And I will tell you, Dr. Vibe, ICE is now in Louisville, Kentucky, my hometown. They've already started making arrests in little old Louisville, Kentucky. But if you've noticed, he is sending these troops, these ICE agents, these thugs, these, they're nothing but the January 6ers, these racists. That's what they are, hiding behind these shields and calling themselves authority, into areas that don't agree and fall into line with what he wants. So Don Lemon did nothing wrong. Anyone who's reporting the truth has done nothing wrong. You just don't fall into their agenda and you serve against them, because it puts a kind of a thorn in their Achilles heel. And I'm not worried about Angie. Angie, you're full of shit. You believe what you want to believe. You drank the Kool-Aid. I know you're already gone, but I'm still going to make it a point to address the fact that if you are that stupid, then you deserve what you get. May you burn in the hell that you have created for others.
Okay. LaLa is back. LaLa is back. What
No, baby, I'm not a dim. I'm an American. I am an American. I am an American. I believe in the American melting pot. I believe that diversity makes a nation great. So take your little old white cell phone, because I'm pretty sure that's what you are, or a bot, because y'all really good at that on these platforms. I will still stand firm, and I will never back down. You don't scare me. You will never scare me, and I will stand for what's right, and that is the right purpose of America, where we all belong.
Okay. Dr. Taj says this is what the First Amendment is for, and journalists are protected underneath that. That is if you have people in charge that follow the law, which they do not.
No,
are you concerned for independent content creators?
Yes, I am. And I don't doubt, Dr. Vibe, that some of them are also feeling the pressure. And at some point, you have to weigh if you're willing to continue the fight or if you need to lay down the banner. And I'm not angry at those who have decided that maybe they don't want to do this anymore, because it is a very dangerous thing. It's not just dangerous for them, but it's dangerous for their families. And that's what's scary. But you see, fear is what they want from you. And if you give it to them, they will continue to take. This is exactly the same playbook that was done in World War II. And it's very well known that he reads Hitler's book, and he admires him. Just look at the simple things that he's done, such as he wants a military parade. He wants everybody to bow down and worship him on his birthday. The fact that President Obama lives rent-free in his head, and now he wants him arrested. For what? For what? For just being Obama.
Oh, by the way, on the Facebook side, Rain Louie says, has a thumb up. Don't know who Rain Louie is, but all
I don't
right.
know, but hello.
Okay.
Welcome.
Dr. Tachi is in now too. She's saying, don't worry about that quote, Angie, unquote, a waste of skin or code if a bot. Also says,
I drink the Kool-Aid. I drink the Kool-Aid.
also, she says, absolutely, LaLa. And there are many creators who did not sign up for this and are not equipped to deal with it. They are not trained journalists and may not have the tools to effectively fight.
Right. And that's okay. See, what I think we're at a point in humanity where people don't allow for grace. And they either want you all in or they want you all out. This has turned into something that is highly dangerous, where people are afraid to leave their homes. Simple citizens who are standing up for others have put themselves into harm's way. That is not necessarily everyone's fight. We all can fight in different ways. Like I've always said, you pick your poison. You pick where you fight best. Maybe it's education. Maybe it's something in your neighborhood that you can do to help uplift. Maybe it's not your fight to be out in the streets holding banners. Maybe it's not your fight to get on this platform, because it takes guts to put your face out here and have the people like Angie Bot come in and call you every single name in the book and then threaten to dox you on things like this. This is not for the faint of heart. And I do not blame anybody who feels like that they don't want to continue in that manner.
Okay. The comment, man, you're getting the comments flying here, LaLa. Gigi says the red hats are the new red coats on the wrong side. Real Americans support the Constitution and stand up. I will continue to represent my country. 47 is crashing in the polls for a reason.
But he won't even allow you to know that. Listen, this past week, this is not a part of our story, but this is a part of what is going on in our nation. They basically broke into Georgia and took the voting rolls.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They took it, and Tulsi Gabbard was there. There was nothing but intimidation there. What do you think they're doing with all these rolls? Now, a part of the so-called let's make it right thing in Minnesota is that they wanted the governor, Tim Walz, to turn over the voting rolls. Why? If they're not so worried about what's going to happen in these midterms, if we have them, because LaLa is about 50-50 on if that's going to happen or not. They're going to find a way to do their very best to not have midterm elections. And a part of that is creating war. And because he knows that he can get by with that. He even asked it publicly. So if we're in a war, we don't have to have elections. And what if we always told you he says what he means and he means what he says? So that gives him an out if we are at war. Keeping you in the dark, keeping you behind the smoke screen, telling you never mind the man behind the curtain. That is a way to keep you looking the other way. But we must stay focused on what we're doing in order to really move forward and take our country back. Because regardless, at the end of the day, there is more of us than there is of them.
That is one of your staple lines. There's more of us than there is them. Dr. Tachi. Oh, Dr. Tachi said, also in response to that horrid mockumentary on you didn't. Oh, no. Merritt, you didn't go there, Dr. Tachi. You didn't go there. People are watching Michelle Obama's documentary becoming on Netflix and running the numbers up.
My popcorn is ready. and I am ready to sit back and watch it tomorrow. We are purposely watching that tomorrow. Now, on this subject too, I have to say, Dr. Vibe, they are literally the movie is doing so bad that they are literally putting Craigslist ads up. There is proof. They're showing that they are paying people $50 to come and watch
No.
the movie, and they get a free ticket and they get $50, but the stipulation is you must stay for the whole movie.
Who's watching them?
Whoever they pay.
Oh my, you're kidding me.
It's so bad over in Europe, nobody's running it.
Well, I
And
also,
there was a hot mic that was left on
yes,
at one of the premieres, and they were like, "Who's here?" Bondi didn't come. Cash Patel didn't come. Miller
yes,
didn't
I
come.
saw that. I saw that on a YouTube platform. I'm not going to say which one, but I did see that. And I also heard that they first was supposed to initially release to 1,000 theaters, and they went to 1,500 to 2,000 just to try to get people in.
Listen, I don't want to see any kind of documentary who is trying to uplift someone who is exactly what they are fighting against. What gives her a pass for being here? She came here on the wrong visa. She's not an American. You're an immigrant.
Well, hey, I've heard some people refer to her as America's most famous immigrant.
They forgot one word.
Ouch! You didn't go there.
I did. Anytime I have seen this so-called first lady's body more than I want to see, I've seen her totally nude. Why do I want that? What's classy about that? There's nothing artistic about that. The fact that she was so involved with the Epstein Trump and all that stuff.
Do I have your permission to interrupt?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know that she's mentioned in this latest batch of the Epstein files?
Yes.
And her emailing Giselle?
Yeah. The other.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, and I know we didn't include a story, but I had a feeling it would come up. And from what reports are saying, she is livid because she was saying this was going to be her week, and it's just gone to pieces.
It's gone to pieces, but it would have gone to pieces anyway. No one cares. If you have to pay people to go to your movie, you're not that interesting, darling.
Yeah, but she's still getting paid $40 million.
Well, what aren't they getting? See, Dr. Vibe, hold up. Let's back up a little bit.
No, remember your voice, and I don't want Will on me. I don't want Will after me. I know he's in the room somewhere listening.
Everything that they do with money. He has sued the banks because they unbanked him. He sues everybody. So where do you think all of this money is coming from? Bitcoin, everything.
No, let me interrupt now.
Everything.
That the first thing he's getting $40 million from Amazon. That means people who are using Amazon are contributing to this. But
exactly.
But what we got to talk about next week is, well, you may bring it up, boycotts.
Exactly.
But that's a whole other conversation.
It is a whole other conversation, but it's one that must be had. So let's make sure that we do discuss that next week.
Okay, but and man, you got the LaLa fan club is in full force today. So they missed you, so they're making up for lost time. Dr. Chad says, yes, fighting does not always mean physically in the streets. Stop supporting companies and entities that fund this type of terror. That's one way to fight. A lot of people were on Tim Cook for going to the premiere.
Oh, yes. Yes. And matter of fact, I am an Apple person. I have always been an Apple person, but guess what? It doesn't necessarily mean that the next time something new comes out that I'll continue to still be an Apple person.
Jen Myers, our dear friend, just says, LaLa, I love what you said. Diversity is the strength and the heart of our country. Gigi. I think the Georgia Republicans will push back. Remember that Raffensperger was a Republican. He reported 47 asking for more votes, not a Dem. Gigi also says Melanie has 8%. Melanie, she calls her Melanie, has a 8% favorable rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Man, you should be here like Dr. Tatch. She says, why would any of those people come? They don't like or support them at all. Tang is under mistaken impression that people actually like him. They don't, and they don't like her.
No.
Michelle Hayward's in the house, is
Hey,
getting her
Michelle.
LaLa promotion. She also says garden. Dr. Chachi says, so they spent $40 million on the documentary itself. Yes, $35 million on promotion. They're only expecting to net between $3 and $5 million of that much. Also, something else, the corporate sponsors listed at the end credits, $10 million each.
Yeah. Have you noticed how everything has a price tag that has something to do with the orange pants? Listen, even Nicki Minaj, she needs to sit her little tail down somewhere. I'm trying to be nice, but
You don't have to be. We don't. You can be LaLa. That's why
I really can't. How sickening of you! How dare you to be an immigrant yourself and to go against other people who look like you? You got this fake little gold card that you claimed that Trump gave you that that gives you immunity from being an immigrant because you're a good immigrant. Those are actually sold to people. But then Trump came out and actually put you in your place, sister girl, and said, no, that was just a token. That is a token. That's not something that you get a pass for. However, we won't come after you, only because she is kissing the ring. If she were to turn around and change her stance tomorrow, she would be disposable, just like everyone else. A token for a token. I love it.
Gigi goes, did anyone see Hilarious Collective in LA? I did not.
I didn't, but now I gotta go look.
Dr. Tachi says, and much of the crew requested that they not even be credited or as having worked on the project.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course. But look at the history of this whole Orange Pants family. They don't believe in paying people. They don't believe in you charging them anything. So they find a way to get around where they don't pay you. Do you not know that the contractors who tore up our White House have not been paid? They've not been paid.
Are you kidding me?
They have not been paid.
Wow.
Half the people that he worked with in New York City, all the contractors who worked on those homes, not been paid. Can we not forget that he has bankrupted more businesses than I can even think about? Trump University, all of the casinos. Are you kidding me? This man is nowhere near any kind of business. He shouldn't be allowed to conduct business with how many bankruptcies he has done. And yet now he's bankrupting America. You understand that we are not a part of like the things that he wanted. The WHO, we're out of the WHO. If we also get out of the United Nations, do you know how much money we owe them and they can call due? This is all a ball of confusion. And while these things are going on in the shadows, they are bombing and killing people in the Minneapolis streets because they don't want you to see through the smoke.
Wow. Haven't been paid?
Mm-mm. No. And mind you, it's still blowing in the wind. No one is doing any construction because there is now been lawsuits against it. So
Yes,
he has
I
torn
heard.
the White House up and it looks like some ghetto slum. We have become the country that he talked about. You do know that.
You didn't go there. You didn't go there.
I did. The things that he talked about from other countries who are actually really rich in minerals and land and resources that are now standing up for themselves that he called. We have none of that. We have none of that. And even his plan that he went into Venezuela and did all that, nobody wanted that oil. Nobody wanted to touch it. He played that wrong. So what did he do? Oh, I'm going to put that money in an offshore account and we'll worry about that later. Whose offshore account did he do that? I'm pretty sure it's his.
Oh boy, let me catch up. You got a line of ladies that are defending you today. Here we go. Dr. Tachi, a token for a token.
Token for a token.
Michelle says, fake is what Nikki, probably shows Nikki is. And then Jen Meyer says, hey, Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi says, listen. I'm doing my Dr. Tachi. Listen, This is why people need to listen to New Yorkers when we speak. He does not pay people. He has a history of not paying people. But for some reason, they won't believe their own eyes.
That's
Gigi
right.
says, Dr. Tachi, it's Regina G. Oh, okay, Regina Gigi. Agree. Oh, okay. Okay. Now, so we know who. All right. Okay, I get it now. And then Michelle says trailer park.
Yeah. That, and even that is an upgrade from what's happened.
So getting back to the whole church protest.
Yes.
Do you feel the protesters were justified going into the church and protesting?
Yes, I do. There is no separation of church and state anymore. We have seen that. We know that. There are these big mega churches that are donating to the government. The government is giving them all sorts of tax breaks. There is no separation of church and state. And when there is no separation of church and state, they are free game. And how dare a minister of the God above, that I do believe, have nerve enough to be an ICE agent? That wasn't a rumor. He works for ICE. That's not, it goes against the principle. Now, let me explain to you why churches should definitely not be on board with what is going on. First of all, the Jesus that I know, whether you're a believer or not, it's okay. I'm not one, look, nobody's throwing my Bible down your throat. I just know that I am a follower of Christ. I try to be. But everything that he taught was nothing but love and acceptance, and not throwing stones at others and looking at yourself and before you're accusing of other people. A church is a place for healing, not for a place of war. And that's what they have set up for. Now, here's a good example of what a church should do and did. In Kentucky, I don't know which city it was, a church turned down over $2 million worth of FEMA money. Why? Because the stipulation for getting that FEMA money was that they would no longer participate in diversity. And they will participate with any ICE raids that would happen. And the church said, if that's what we have to do to get this money to help the people, we can't do it because it goes against every principle that we believe in. That is what a church should do.
If you, the comments are just flying. This is so good. This is so good. They're just full-fledged. Gigi says Rubio refused to answer whose offshore accounts of Venezuelan money went into. Dr. Tati says they are not private enterprises because they're getting tax breaks. We are paying for them to exist. Gigi says, why hasn't the mainstream media follow up on the crooked pastor?
Smoke screen, Gigi. Smoke screen. They want to focus on other things. They want to spin their narrative, their story. Why aren't they? That should be the question we should all be asking.
They focus on Lemon, but not the con man in the pulpit.
Exactly. And so do I feel that they were wrong? No, I do not.
We also have another like on Facebook from Yolanda Winnett.
Hi, Yolanda. It's my cousin.
All right. If you had a chance to chat with Don Lemon, what would you say to him?
Thank you. I appreciate you standing up for what is right, knowing what was coming at you and still standing firm. You did not bow down. And so I would say thank you and still continue to fight. You are supported and you are loved, and we appreciate everything that you're doing.
Dr. Tachi from a media end says, Gigi, we can no longer trust mainstream media because they're owned by questionable and straight out crooked entities now. Independent media is the only way. Oh, man.
I think you accidentally blocked Gigi on YouTube.
I don't think I did. I don't know, but I don't know how I can do that. But I don't think I did, Gigi. I don't know how. I'd have to check. I'll take a look. Hopefully, in between our conversation here. Look at this. Yolanda says, "Hello, cousin, watching from Texas."
Thank you, love. Yeah.
What is your message to mainstream media?
Mainstream media, we
Oh,
don't believe you
geez.
anymore. Mainstream media, you're worthless. You're bought out. You're compromised. You're not worth a piece of ink or a piece of media that you're putting out. We no longer trust you. We know who you work for, and we don't want to follow those that are into bowing down and kissing rings. So no, we don't trust you anymore.
Hmm. Where do you see the next step when it comes to this administration and media, whether it's mainstream media or independent media?
They will continue to put the pressure on those who disagree with them. This is just the beginning. We actually kind of saw the beginning a few weeks ago, as you recall, when they were spinning AI content and having birds on independent reporters. That was the beginning. They push and push to a certain point to see what we will allow them to get away with. And they know they really and truly don't have a case against Lemon or these other three journalists and documentary creators. But see, they got the sensational story. So the backstory doesn't matter because they got what they want for people and those who really drink the Kool-Aid to see. And now they'll take that narrative and they'll run with the lies. And let's also be very clear that this administration has been using AI to spin troubled webs and for deceit.
What do you, well, we'll save it for our next segment, but yeah, what, I don't know if I asked you this, when you first heard of the story, what was your reaction?
I was angry. But see, that's what they want from us. They want anger. They want the anger, but not the action. They want us to think that we're losing this battle when I know that we are not. You know, when my own mother-in-law tells me that she knew something was wrong in the news when they didn't report how many protests for King's Day, it only got 3 seconds in their little news blip. She knew something was wrong. This is an 89-year-old woman who has now said, something's not right about this. More and more people are waking up to what the truth is. And there are many people who are now coming over to the other side. But I have to say, Dr. Vibe, as Aisha and I both said, we are a part of the 92%. It is time for especially Black women to stand down. There's other ways that we can fight. Because you see, let me tell you what actually this looks like. When they are coming after their own and doing the atrocious things that they are doing to their own people. See, it's always been good for the I won't say all because I don't believe in all. I don't believe in all. But for the majority of the white population, the Black, the brown, the Asian, anything other than white has always been their problem. They can look at it and go, oh, that's so sad. But when it becomes them in the streets and them being beat and them being shot at with bullets and pellets and attacked, now it becomes their problem. And the fact that means they have to take more action because now it is their problem.
We comment here. Gigi says, thanks, Don. You are the role model for the rest of independent journalism. Michelle says, what are your all thoughts on Fortune 500 CEO speaking out against his administration?
I don't mind at all. I hope that they do. But here's my question. Are you just speaking out or are you putting action behind those words? There are two different things you can say and you can do. And if you're not putting the action behind the words, then you're just another sounding horn. You're clinking cymbals. that say nothing. But I think more and more corporations need to speak up. And in the next segment, I don't want to say that now. I'll hold off on that comment.
Okay. Well, and it's interesting. There will be commentators that will say the only way you can get to 47 is through money. And
Yes.
so he always reacts when stock market goes down on things. Again, hence some people calling him Taco. 47 always chickens out. He always reacts to money, the money aspect. And I always circle back. David Frum.
Yes.
Said it a long time ago from the Atlantic. Said 47 only cares about two things, himself and money. So you have to, I just suggest follow his thoughts or actions. Where's the money go? Where's the money go?
Follow the trail.
Someone says on YouTube, facts. All right. Good stuff.
Jason, welcome. That's a new name for me. Welcome.
Look at this. I like this. Rhetoric is gibberish. Doing is action. Nice quote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. That needs to go on a t-shirt, Jason. That needs
that's a serious quote. That's a quotable. That is a quotable. All right. You want to take a short break or you want to go into our next conversation piece?
Let's go for a short break. I just need to breathe a few seconds.
Well, hold on a second. Before that, Michelle says, let's get into abolitionist John Brown, who was hanged on December 2nd, 1859, after his failed raid on the federal arsenal at Virginia. Okay.
Girl, you need to come on the show. Just come on.
I've been waiting. All these people would love to have you on. Gigi says, she goes, yes, LaLa. There are many switching over, Dems and independent. There is a great SNL skit with a white guy all upset that the government treating citizens violently, while the black members on the panel roll their eyes. A lot of white folk are waking up. Quote, stay woke on these streets is truer than ever. All right. So we are going to take a quick 15-second break because LaLa's on her own today, family. So, we got to give her grace. So we are going to take a quick little break. Just give me a second here. Yeah, you see, she needs her break. Let's go for a break, 15 seconds.
Watch Black Canada Talking live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Cesar de Mamusa give their takes and POVs on news stories from a Black Canadian perspective.
All right, we are back on Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. LaLa's doing Han Solo today and doing a great job. Michelle, white Americans don't know enough about him and what the difference is between ally and abolitionist.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, by the way, everyone, the invitation is open if you want to join and come on in because you do a great job on the concert. We'd love to see you live. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. All right, let's get into our next conversational piece. Another interesting conversational piece as usual. So let me put it up here. Here we go.
Alex Pretti was a respected ICU nurse in Minneapolis, known for his compassion and dedication. On January 24th, 2026, during a federal immigration operation called Operation Metro Surge, Pretti was fatally shot by U.S. Border Patrol agents in the Whittier neighborhood. 11 days earlier, he'd had a tense encounter with agents but never drew his weapon. On the day he died, video evidence shows Pretti filming agents and helping a woman before being pepper sprayed, pinned, and shot while holding only a cell phone. The shooting sparked protests, a federal civil rights investigation, and national debate over aggressive immigration enforcement.
Our next conversation piece, and this, I know LaLa's got a lot to say about this. What happened to Alex Pretti in Minneapolis? Full breakdown. Go for it, LaLa.
This man was a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, just a citizen. He is also an ICU nurse for the VA. He was extremely well respected, and he respected and took care of our veterans. And he was killed only because he was protecting someone and also filming the situation. They do not want to show what is actually happening in the streets. This man was a good man. He was what a good citizen should be doing, protecting those who are the most vulnerable. And his weapon of choice was informing the world with a simple cell phone. And he also was a licensed conceal and carry person. Okay. He was not brandishing the firearm. He never drew it out. He was a legal person who could conceal and carry. He was using his amendment right to protect himself and have a firearm. And they didn't even know that he had that until they turned him over. And they shot that man 10 times after removing his weapon for no reason at all other than exercising protection against someone else. Now, this is what's disgusting about this. Immediately, Nome and Miller put together something and pretend G.I. Joe in his pretend battle gear came out with a narrative that this man was a terrorist, that he wasn't a good man, that he was some kind of threat to these officers, not considering that there was about 10 of them on one man, and who literally was just filming what was going on. There was complete eyewitnesses to the story, other people who had also recorded what was happening. And Nome came out and said with her whole fake chest and fake lips and fake everything about her, and said that this man was a terrorist. We saw what we saw. They are telling us to not believe what we see and hear, and that you can't trust what you see, when it was very, very clear that this man was completely executed. And let me tell you what else was major about this. This is a very double standard when it comes to the Second Amendment. And we've had so many school shootings, y'all. We can't even count them no more, can we? We can't even count them no more. Kids just know that's a fact. They go to school, they may get killed. But guess who came out and said, there is something wrong with this and it needs to be investigated? The NRA. Not only did the NRA, also the local, the Minnesota gun people came out as well and condemned what happened. This man was abiding by the law. And because these crooked people could not handle and have been extremely, come on, y'all, they're not trained. They're taking anybody. They're taking anybody at all. There are January 6ers that are on there. There are racists on there. There's actually guys, Israeli military, who are also over here serving in America on ICE. And they took this opportunity to try to show power because they know that there is no way that they're going to get punished for what they have done. They killed an innocent man. They tried to cover it up. The people are smarter than what they are. We saw what we saw. We will continue to speak out.
One of the things
I'm very sad and angry. I was sad and angry about Renee Good, but you see how they spun Renee, right? She was a lesbian. She was a part of the LGBTQ plus. So they made it a point that she wasn't a good woman. She didn't fit into what we want. She's not a good white woman. What are they saying about Alex, who was a very good man, a very good caring nurse to our veterans? They can't say anything at all. And they created an AI video of him attacking and kicking the ICE cars, and it was very clearly AI. And they put that on CNN and said, here is what happened. Where's what he did to the ICE agents just weeks before. And everybody called him on their shit because it wasn't a real video.
Well, one of the things I found interesting about this is that the Christie and Stephen Miller are not going like at odds with each other on this. And she basically saying, hey, I'm just following Stephen's orders.
And if you've noticed at the big conference afterwards, what do you call that thing? They have these conferences or whatever. Trump brought out all of his, oh God, I said his name. Orange brought all his regular people out except for Noam Miller.
Yes, I saw that she just sat there and didn't say a thing.
That speaks volumes right there. He's trying to cover up and lessen what they did because, dog killing Barbie can't get away from this, and Miller can't either. So
Miller,
he's piling up. It's piling up on him. It's going to be a long time before we see anything happen to Miller. I really and truly believe that. But Noam will go sooner or later. They've actually started putting together paperwork to impeach her. Trump will let her go before they do that, though. And then they'll thank her for her service and pay her a lot of money for doing so. And then she'll run for governor somewhere.
You are of the thought that Kristi Noem, her days are numbered.
Her days are numbered, and so is Kash Patel.
Oh, I don't know about this. I don't know.
Her days are numbered. There's too many Republicans now who are also speaking out against this. And don't forget the NRA is also a part of.
Well, so this is something that Gigi said. NRA, I am not backing administrating comments on concealed weapons. Many of the 2A maggots are really upset too. This administration is an evil mess.
It is.
Dr. Tachi says, I was just following orders, did not work with the Third Reich, and it doesn't work here either.
Mm-hmm.
GGO says there was a fake right-wing story about Alex being fired from a hospital, according to a doctor on the staff. Turns out he never worked at the hospital, and the doctor was made up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so is AI. So this is what we're fighting now, guys, because the fact of the matter is they put these stories out for those who are the hardcore MAGAs. They will believe, do, and say anything to stay within what they think is their protected graces. The Kool-Aid tastes real good to them. It's antifreeze. They don't realize that antifreeze tastes just as sweet. It comes back to kill you. So we are seeing right before our eyes fascism at its best. You pathetic turds. Baby. Listen, sweetheart. Hope that Kool-Aid.
Michelle says, fight AI with AI.
Yeah.
And she also says we can flood MAGA zone with AI that twists it this info.
Mm-hmm.
And Michelle, I know you have a lot of expertise in this world of AI also too.
She does.
What have you felt about Minnesota's okay, first of all, the people on the streets, what do you have to say about them? What do you have to say for the governor of Minnesota and also the mayor of Minneapolis?
I'm torn on that. First, let me address the people of Minnesota. I'm proud of you. You are definitely putting up a fight. You are doing what's right. You're one city, you're one state, but they plan on doing this in all states. And because Tim Walz is who he is, and he ran against this administration, you were targeted immediately because this is a punishment for running against Trump. This is a retaliation, just like everything else that he does is. Stand firm. Know that we are with you. There are many of us who send resources as well. A lot of us are not vocal about it, but we are very proud of you for standing firm on what you know is right. Now, as for Walz and the mayor, I have to say, Dr. Vibe, I am a little disappointed in them. I know that the mayor, to me, stands a little more firm than what Walz is. I feel that Walz did not take the action that he needed to take immediately. Maybe he was shell-shocked a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he didn't quite know what to do because it's a lot. You are in charge of a lot. And for someone to attack your state just because of who you are and what you did for our country, meaning run to be our vice president, for your people to suffer for the actions of that is absolutely baffling to me. And I can imagine that you are stupefied by it. But I really feel like we are in the down and dirty days, and this is not a time to be polite. This is full extortion, especially for the roles that they wanted, and it's nothing but, bribery to get what they want. I wish that he would have stood a little bit firmer. That's just my personal opinion, but I feel like the people were standing a little harder than he was.
And let's go to the next level. What are your thoughts about, some people would say, the lack of response for the Democratic Party?
They have lost me. There are a few Democratic members of Congress that I still admire very much, and I feel like they have the guts and the fight to do so. But when you have Democrats who are seeing exactly what is happening in these streets, and they still are voting for more funding that includes ICE, that is spineless and that's cowardly, and you no longer serve the people, step aside. You do not belong in
Well,
that
the
seat.
government did avoid a shutdown.
I don't care.
But the funny thing is, the whole thing of ICE, they've been both postponed for 2 weeks. Do you think that's
Wait.
gonna get? It's not gonna
No.
get anywhere, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Until people stop looking at we are red or we are blue, and you are seeing what is happening to the American people, and you are there for the American people, you're worthless if you're not standing up for us. I don't care what color, what side you're on. I'm very disappointed in Democrats. I'm very disappointed in them.
We have seen what the people in Minnesota are doing. What are you asking Americans to do?
Stop being silent. You see, there are, in the scheme of how many people are American citizens or are part of America or trying to obtain their citizenship as well, we are only seeing a fraction of those who are actually standing up and speaking out. Like I said before, you don't always have to stand in the streets, but your actions behind what is acceptable and not acceptable can no longer protect you. You cannot turn a blind eye. You can no longer support the companies who are supporting this. Places like Ring cameras, people are getting information because they participate with ICE to take that information. So that means maybe you need to find another Ring camera. That is one way to fight back. Home Depot is allowing their videos to be used toward immigrants and those who come there looking for work. Maybe you don't go to Home Depot anymore. I don't. And I'm in real estate, so don't think I didn't spend a lot of money at that place. But then you also have to look and see what Lowe's is doing, because Lowe's has some things. So where do you go? Your action plan is to find out how to defund anyone who is funding what is wrong in our country. And there are ways around that. Now, you may not be able to get around it all the time. Let's face it, some of these little cities, the only place that you can shop for your groceries is Walmart. But there are other ways that you can fight against this. It is your inaction is no longer acceptable.
Is it more effective to push back against the government or to push back against the companies that are funding the government, or is it something else?
No, it's both. You can't have one without the other. So there is no one thing is more important. They all feed into one another. I absolutely love Stranger Things. I love stories like that. I am a horror freak. I love stuff like that. But what really scared me, and I looked at my husband and we had this conversation the other day, is We truly are living in the upside down, where evil seems to be winning and we are still continuing to fight. And we have to remember that in the end, even when our darkest days are the blackest, we have to know that our little lights that we are holding so preciously tight to in against what is going on will soon unite and become a hotter flame. We have to remember that it's not just one thing that we're standing against when they're all standing together. So now you really have to make the decision to stand firm on fighting it all the way.
What does it say to you that the individuals that unalived Alex Pretti and Michelle Good may never come to trial?
That scares me. But then I also think, even though this isn't a bright light moment, it's not a shiny, woo, let's all feel good moment. We have to remember that even those who went to the Nuremberg trials, even though some of them got the justice that we wanted to see, there were many that were picked up by other countries and brought to their country for what they knew, so that they can serve that country with what they knew. Not everything is going to turn out perfect. There was some bright lights that happened during that awful era. We have to trust that there's also going to be bright lights of truth and justice that will be carried forward during this dark time as well. Nothing's ever perfect. Nothing is a feel-good story. But right is always right and wrong is always wrong. And you got to pick a side on that part.
Mm. Mm. Do you forecast more unalivings of American citizens?
Yes, I do. This was a test. It's no longer a test. It's now a mandate.
Wow. That doesn't really bode well.
No. But is anything worth fighting for not worth it? You got to choose if it's worth it or not. That's easy for me to say. And a lot of the things that I do, I don't speak about because I really feel like a lot of the times you must move in silence. This is my most vocal platform where I speak against the atrocities that is going on in our country. But I keep a lot of things in my hand and my heart that you don't need to know about.
Mm. And again, periodically, I bring it up. Mainstream media is not asking what Black people think about all of this.
They don't care. They never have. They never will. We were never on their agenda other than submission, free labor, helping to nurse their babies. They don't like to see us have any kind of power because we don't fit into their agenda as humans to them. They still see us as subpar. And for those who really believe in that, they'll never see us any other way. I'm not saying that some people can't have a change of heart. I've seen it. One of the most racist old men that I knew growing up changed his heart. And it can be done. And when he changed his heart, he fought hard against everything that he truly believed to try to make it right. And he said that I'll never be able to make up for what I've done. But he also acknowledged where that came from and why he had that mindset. And it was a generational thing. What is taught behind closed doors is really, really hard to fight when that is deeply rooted behind what you grew up in. You can break that curse, though.
Is there anything else you want to comment on in regards to Minnesota before we move on to our next conversation piece?
I'm just heartbroken that innocent people no longer have breath. We all deserve to live long, beautiful lives. And never will I pretend like I understand what this feels like to their family. I only can speak from my own experience, and I have my own experiences with the government. But I'm proud that you are doing what you're doing, and you're actually showing other parts of the country that they can stand as well.
And again, I just want, if you want to share any words to encourage your fellow Americans during this time.
Do not give up. Don't give up. They want you. They want you to give up. This is why that they're doing what they're doing, to instill fear, to put out the news reports and the AI to make it seem like, this is not what you see. This is not what you see. What is that thing on South Park? Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Even though you have seen it with your own eyes. Discernment is key. Stand firm and really look for the real truth. Don't just accept what you see as well. Now, we all accept what we saw that happened to Alex. But be very, very careful about the propaganda that comes behind it.
Do you have any words at all for those who may differ with your opinion at all?
We will win.
Oh, let me put it this way. Do you have any words for those who are still supporters of 47?
Baby, you're not immune. It may be us today, but it will be you tomorrow. They don't care. They want your money. They want you to bow down. And if you think that you are immune, you got another story coming. You could bet on that.
Okay. Michelle says, my blackest days are the best. Hashtag Black is beautiful. Salute to the African-American flag as I sing our Black national anthem.
Amen.
All right. Our last conversation piece is really up LaLa's alley. And this is really interesting. Before we go, Ritika, just see another comment coming up here. Dr. Tach says, and there will be no forgiveness for the supporters when the tables turn. That's a message some people are saying that people don't realize. When the tables turn, those people who are doing this now better watch out.
Let me just tag on to that, because here's a perfect example of that. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Do you see what's happened to her? She's done a complete turnaround, but do I trust her? No. Are you kidding me? You're the same woman that bent down in front of a January 6er behind bars and prayed for him and said he did nothing wrong. You're now screaming at people that, they're being fooled, when, sister girl, you was the top notch. It's going to take me a lot before I believe and get behind you. You can scream all you want to, do what you need to do. You're not to be trusted.
She got away with it.
She did, but in our eyes,
yeah,
we don't really know what's behind closed doors.
So Michelle says, it's snowing from North Carolina to North Florida. Enjoy. All right. Enjoy. In Toronto, we got cold. We don't got snow. All right. Our next conversation piece coming up. Let's see if I'm going to do it right this time. And this is really up LaLa's wheelhouse. So we'll be back in just a second.
Housing prices up, not down, arguing this protects homeowners' wealth. For current owners, that means your property value stays high, which can feel like financial security. But for Americans hoping to buy their first home, high prices make it harder to afford a place of your own. Trump's plan focuses on lowering mortgage rates, not reducing prices, and proposes banning big investors from buying up homes. The big trade-off? Protecting existing wealth may make it tougher for new buyers to enter the market.
So for those who don't know, LaLa is an international real estate agent.
Yes, sir.
One of her home bases is the United States.
And
so
United
when she brought this story up, I said, LaLa, no one better than LaLa to speak about it. So Dr. Tati says that's artificial inflation.
Yep.
Go for it, LaLa.
Okay, so I'm going to try to explain this in layman's terms, because they like to use a lot of big words and a lot of fluff when it comes to real estate. But Orange, he actually literally said out of his mouth, even though on his campaign trails he wanted to make homes more affordable, right? Just part of his Make America Great Again. But this past week, he literally said out of his own mouth with them big old orange lips that he wants the housing prices to go up and not down. And this frames higher prices as evidence of a strong economy rather than prioritizing affordability. This is the exact opposite of what he said. It's do as I say, not as I do, right? So with this, if we see a lot of rising home prices and people who are not able to purchase because the affordability is so high. You have to remember that home prices usually, historically, have been maybe 3 times what a person's annual income is. It is now well over 6 times the amount that people are making. This completely makes those who are looking to be first-time homeowners and own a little piece of that land, which also helps to build generational wealth, being priced out of the market. Listen, the benefit for current homeowners is, yes, they're not going to lose value on their home. But I must stress to you that real estate has and always will be a cycle. Typically, it's a 7-year cycle. And actually, up until like 2008, that last crash, it was always typically 7 years. It is now a little out of whack when it comes to that cycle. But there's one thing that I do know: real estate is either up or real estate is always down. There is a way that you have to ride real estate. Now, a perfect example is my husband and I purchased a home in Colorado in 2002, right before the crash. Our home at that time, we purchased it for like $176,000. Okay. When the market crashed, we went all the way down to $125,000 for our home. We held on to our home for well over 15 years. By the time that we rode out that wave, our home was worth $400,000. So as a real estate professional, I always tell people to think about what they're doing. You need to buy and hold if this is a primary residence. Don't worry about what the market is doing at the time, unless it's time to sell or buy. And there's ways to work around that. But the fact that first-time homeowners and renters are seeing higher prices, that means there's larger down payments. It's higher monthly payments. There's stricter lending registration restrictions, and there's also the fact that interest rates are higher, which means property insurance and taxes are also higher. Things are just out of reach where people cannot afford. So his plan of making real estate go up is actually detrimental to the typical American who really wants to own their home. He also claims that, he's going to stop investors from buying up homes in order for individuals to buy. But the individuals must be hardworking and prove that you are hardworking in order to own a home. His whole thing is that people who don't work hard do not deserve to buy a home. Well, how does that work? Almost everybody I know is a hardworking person. So if you don't work hard enough, then you don't deserve to be a homeowner. But with his super play on words that he's going to stop investors from buying these homes, there is a massive loophole in that. Okay. Investors may stop buying homes, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't build whole communities that are only targeted toward renters. We are seeing that. I saw a whole beautiful, I kid you not, in Florida, outside of Melbourne, Florida, there was this whole brand new neighborhood. And I mean, it had like 50, 60 homes, gorgeous new builds, still building. And the whole community was for rent. You get to take care of the yard You get to pay your utilities. You get to do all that stuff, but you never get the opportunity to own that home. So there's a loophole for that. The fact that his dementia of saying things, and believe it or not, this man is completely dementiafied out. And if you ask me, he's on his way out. That he is trying to protect the American citizen. Don't get it twisted. There is nothing about keeping prices high that is going to benefit the average American.
All right. Michelle says higher home prices without increased income is not good for anyone. Gigi says, and I did admit, I don't have you blocked on YouTube from my end, Gigi. So I don't know. We'll have to look at that. She says, I attended the New York State Town Hall last night with our local assemblywoman. It was 0 degrees and 300 people still showed up. Our assemblywoman told us house costs in our county had risen 82% since the pandemic hit in 2020. And she also says, even homeowners are terrified because with all the federal program cuts to our state are going to make property taxes soar.
Exactly. But see, that's the problem. Here's where people don't understand. There are 4 parts to a mortgage. Okay. There's principal and interest. Those are the 2 main parts of your home loan. Okay. And that can vary if you're using an ARM or whatever. But basically, if you have a stable loan, 30-year loan, those typically stay the same unless you refinance. Okay, and you can refinance. So if you get a higher interest rate and interest rates drop, you can refinance to get the lower. But your principal and your interest are your key part of your loan. What are variables? Are your taxes and your insurance. Taxes are not a part of what the principal and interest is. Taxes are what the state is charging. You got your state taxes. And even in places like Florida that claim that they don't charge state taxes, you're going to pay that in other ways. So those things are variable. When you have the taxes and the insurance, especially places like Florida, California, places where there are high fires and floods and tornadoes and hurricanes, and your insurance is so high, your $1,200 payment now becomes $2,100 a month. That's not what you signed up for. When your taxes and your insurance vary and they go up for whatever reason, wherever you live, your PITI stays the same, but that gets reevaluated and now it becomes unaffordable and maintain and keep your home when you can no longer afford it. So let me give you another scenario for this, because this is a very, very important thing to remember. You can pay off your home. Everybody obtains, they want that. They want to obtain owning their home. You can get rid of that principal and interest and burn that mortgage. But the things that you'll never be able to burn and get rid of is your taxes, and your insurance. You
And
will be
they're always
paying that
going
a
up.
lot.
They're always, well, and LaLa, I don't know how much you know about the Canadian marketplace, but there are a number of people over in this last 2-year people that are having to refinance their mortgages.
Yes.
And with the higher interest rates, like some people, their monthly costs are doubling.
Yes.
I'm only speaking I can't speak for the US because I don't live there.
No, we're pretty much speaking for America as well.
Yeah, and I'm just going, wow. Like, okay, then from your lens, then LaLa, if you were the housing administrator and you had the power to do whatever you wanted in regards to housing in America, what would you do?
I would focus on especially the middle and lower class. They work very hard. These rents are out of control. If you can pay rent in majority of these places, you definitely can pay a stable amount for home ownership. And yes, taxes, insurance, they are the variable. But when you own, you also have leverage. And education is a huge part of that. For me, I would want to educate people on home ownership and what that truly means. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to buy a McMansion. Sometimes you do need to just be able to afford that 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 1.5 bath house, even though that may not be your dream home. Because see, the longer, just like I gave you the example of what I paid for my home early on, and you saw how low it went within that first couple of years. In the end, when the cycle comes back around, you have that higher amount that you can now leverage into another home, another purchase. Also, now keeping that home instead of selling it and turning that into a rental. It helps to educate people on how home ownership can give them generational wealth, how home ownership can also help them be a little more comfortable when it comes to retirement and sending their kids to school and doing the things that make people successful in life. As a housing advocate, education to me is one of the very first things that I would do. And I would make sure that home ownership gets tied into down payment assistance programs. Why? Because there's many nonprofit organizations. If you partner with the nonprofit organizations and you educate the people, they become better, responsible homeowners. Therefore, the whole economy of the United States of America becomes better because you have people who take pride in what they own. That's where I would begin.
What about the aspect of building more homes?
I am torn on that. And let me tell you why. There are so many homes in the United States that are empty and dilapidated, that with a little bit of love, and I'm very proud to say that my hometown is doing really good with this program, where they are selling these homes that are not livable right now, and they are actually allowing investors to come in and fix them up and sell them within a certain price range and a certain profitability. And a lot of these beginning investors are getting their feet wet with learning how to do these houses and then turning around and then giving these houses back to people who need them in an affordable way. So the new builds, I'm sorry, I don't trust American built new builds anymore. I'm very sorry. Very many of these homes are built shoddy and fast and quick. Are there good home builders? Yes, there are some. But if you ask me right now, there are many that are not. And I will say one right now out loud because he is supposed to be the director of HUD. Bill Pulte, you should be ashamed of yourself, of what you are pushing on the American people. Your product is worth half the time. You do not even put insulation in your homes. You build them so fast with plywood that within 5 years, they don't even look like a brand new home. They look dilapidated. So do I believe in new homes because people think new homes are better? No, I do not believe in them. I believe in rehab and refurbishing the neighborhoods that need them. Bring that back into our communities. Bring community back. That shiny new home that you see today is not going to be so shiny in 5 years.
Okay. Gigi says, and groceries, healthcare, and utility costs are skyrocketing. That more people are now leaving Florida than moving in. I've got to check that out because we have a very close friend of ours,
Yes.
Ray McMillan, that lives in Jacksonville. So would love to get his take on that. Michelle says, I wish I still had my $630 a month mortgage with taxes and insurance. And
Yeah.
Michelle says, thank you. I prefer homes built before the 1980s building codes.
Yes. They're sturdy. They're stable. Now, let me tell you one thing, because I have to compare this, because, I'm international and I sell in Portugal. Now, the homes in Portugal are built with cinder blocks. They are built with and concrete and things that are stable. They just had a Cyclone 3 bomb roll through. There were many houses that are still standing that have been standing for a very long time. Okay, so you have to look at what the building material is. There's a reason America scoffs and bucks at things like building with steel, because steel is strong. It's now coming up. Most people are still getting smart. Instead of building with those 2x4s, many homes are now using the steel posts to build and frame their homes. And that should be mandatory when it comes to places like Florida that have all those hurricanes and things of that nature. But the building materials matter. And when you're building cheap and quick, you're not going to be standing in 20 to 30 years. There's a reason a lot of those old homes, like Michelle said, night before 1980, are still standing.
Says, my old house had steel I-beam and column, but that was Pittsburgh for you. She goes, oh, it was built in the 1950s. Well, the home that I am in was built in the late 1950s.
Love it.
Great house. Great house. Great house. Great house. Really, really sturdy. Really, really strong. What is your outlook for the housing market for 2026 in America?
I don't see it being a good outlook at all.
Wow.
I don't, because Dr. Vibe, you have to understand that people are really working very hard to just survive. Many people can't even afford their groceries right now. And with the government punishing people.
Yeah, but
who are
hold on. Your president said that this is a hoax. All this high prices thing is a hoax.
He's not my president.
Okay.
He's a con man and a felon. So I choose not to believe a con man and a felon who also got wealthy off of shoddy, garbage real estate.
Okay. No, he said it's a Democratic hoax.
Oh. Ooh. I don't choose to drink antifreeze.
It'll be interesting to see. I think the midterms, well, if they happen, are going to be very interesting.
They are, because I will say, I always like to try to share something good. We do have to remember that there are elections that are happening right now. And we are winning a lot of them. When I say we, there is a turn in what the previous leadership was. A lot of the red is now being turned blue, even in places that people are like, what just happened? Like, this has not happened in 30 years. It is happening. And so we have to have faith in what people are doing behind closed doors and not saying. I've always said, I'm not worried about the ones who are out here screaming in the streets. I'm worried about the ones who ain't saying nothing behind closed doors, right? Because that's how we got Trump in the first place. A lot of people believed in what he was saying, but didn't want to actually speak out about it. It was all those silent votes that we wasn't expecting, right? I'm talking about the first election. We all know that the second one was stolen. And I still stand firm on that. And it's being proven every single day. But, or else why would they be going for all these voter rolls? Please, please. So we have to make sure that we also see light in the fight. If we continue to scream gloom and doom, I believe in the law of attraction. More doom and gloom will come. But when we start embracing the good that can come out of these battles, that's when things are going to shift. I see things shifting. I also feel like you, Dr. Vibe, I'm 50-50 on if we're going to have midterm elections. But I also see that if we don't have midterm elections, that may also just turn people on the wrong side as well. Just like the NRA came out and spoke out against him, and they don't even come out and speak about school shootings. That's a major thing. You have to see that as a win. Whether you like it or not, it's a win.
Michelle says 47 doesn't pay for anything. He used to quote parent, unquote, to his parent, everyone else paying his bills.
Mm-hmm.
Just on this,
even his divorces.
just on this last thing about home ownership, part of the American dream is owning a home. Where does that stand right now in 2026 about owning a home? Well, if you had to say about the American dream to 20 and 30-year-olds, what would you tell them?
Just what Invader said, get a life. And when he says get a life, it means get a good life. There are ways that you can still obtain your dream. Like I said, you just got to think outside the box. Maybe it's a duplex that you and your sister can both go in on. Maybe you can't afford it by yourself. Maybe a family member that you truly trust, and you set it up properly where you can buy together as a co-op can help you obtain that home ownership. And let's not forget, when I say duplexes, most people think side by side. That's not exactly what a duplex is all the time. Sometimes it's two houses on one property. Maybe it's a tiny house in the back and a larger house in the front. You know, these are the things that you now have to start thinking about. Home ownership is not unattainable. You just have to think outside the box and get creative with your financing, and the fact that you may not be able to just buy by yourself anymore. Maybe you have to become a part of a group that is a co-op, or someone in your family. Buy the block is what I say. There are towns, there are literal subdivisions right now that are up for sale for a little of nothing, where you and your family can all come together and buy the block and help build together.
Okay. On that point, I think we're going to call it a conversation.
Conversation.
Yes, LaLa, again, you hit it out of the park, LaLa. Technical
How was
challenge.
that as a comeback?
There you go. Just don't call it a comeback. LaLa said, knock you out. LaLa said, knock you out. There we go. Want to thank everyone who watched live on the replay. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. As always, well, first things first, here's Aisha's information. She's not with us this week, but don't forget.
She got the cooties that I had.
There you go. On Instagram, Medium, Blue Sky, Friendo Media, and Substack. That's where you can catch her. And then we'll full screen to the key.
Yeah, I'll make it easy. You can find me at laurakey.net. I have all of your real estate needs there. If you're interested in buying a first-time home, there's information there. If you're thinking about moving abroad, there's information there. And I also like to have a little bit of fun. So I actually have an Etsy store. So please visit my Etsy store. And I'm adding new things every day. Right now, I'll be putting up some new things like some new shirts and some manifestation planners and things of that nature. So please go and support my store. If you don't see anything that you like right then and there, that's okay. Just favorite me. It's coming soon.
Thank you so much, LaLa. Thanks, and great to have you back. All right. And well, there's a comment here before I give all my information here. Jen says, fabulous show as always. Gigi says, love you, LaLa. And Dr. Tachi says, great show. It always is a great show because all of you are part of it. You make it great. If you want to get a hold of me, make it easy. toplink.cc/the DRVIBESHOW.com. And as always, we end off with this one. Say thank you so much for, again, everyone for watching live on the replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. So this is how we ended off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger, block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And as always, make it better. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith while good. If you are a praying person, let's pray for Aisha's health and have them. We need to have a show of them back together. I think they've only done one this year so far together, live. So we need to have more of them live. All right. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith while good.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family that's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay? I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no. What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know I'm going to ask you. It falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry?
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and LaLa because we oftentimes wear ours.